So, t-
Hi, I'm Sebastian from Klevgränd. This is Noah,
Hi.
and this is OneShot. OneShot is a powerful drum sampler and workstation where you can play realistic drums in a creative environment. It comes preloaded with lots of sounds, kits, presets. It has a bunch of effects, and multi-out routing and much more. It is also built for using your own samples. We have prepared lots of presets ready to load in your current projects. Maybe it's pop, or soul. Some light jazz, perhaps. Something electronic. Or maybe just some really great percussion. The core functionality in OneShot revolves around slots and triggers. A slot contains multiple audio files stacked in velocity layers. This right here is a damped snare drum from the 60s kit. I can click load on a slot to replace it with another sound from the same snare drum. Or take something completely different, like a clap. If I click Edit, I can view and edit the audio content of the slot. Here I see all the files of the slot in velocity order. We've put some detailed settings up here to the right, and you can set the start and stop points of each sample down here. This edit view is maybe most interesting if you're working with your own samples. We have another video on how to work with your own samples. Check it out. When you load a slot, a corresponding trigger is automatically created down here. So if slots are the actual sound, triggers are how the sound is played.
Okay, so triggers are mapped to MIDI notes.
Yes.
Then I want a tom here.
Yeah. I'll just drag and drop the tom trigger to that note.
Oh, cool, thanks.
Clicking a trigger, you'll find envelopes, humanize, reverse, and more, all for that specific trigger. So if I have several triggers to the same slot, I can have individual settings on each key.
Smart. Then I want 3 toms.
Sure. I'll just hold down Alt or Option key while copying this specific trigger. Now I have 3 triggers to the same tom slot, and I can give them all different pitches or envelopes. Do it like that, and blow, blow, blow. Wonderful. In the physical world, playing something like a hi-hat, the pedal closing will silence the ringing from hitting the open hi-hat. So, this mechanism where playing one sound silences another is replicated with the choke function in OneShot. So I click choke here on the pedal close slot. I now see all the slots that can be muted by this slot. So to mute the open hi-hat, I raise a mount on the open hi-hat. And now when Noah plays the pedal close, it will fully mute the open hi-hat when the pedal slot is triggered. This is not only useful to mute other slots, but also itself. We have 2 triggers of the same tom here, one with long decay and one with a short. And I don't want the tail of each tom strike to just ring out and layer on top of each other. So I'll go to the choke function of the tom slot. I set the amount to 70% on the same tom slot. I raise the time to get a subtle fade out, and raise velocity so that it quiets more the louder Noah plays. Like that. This way, the tail of the sound gets muted in a more natural way. There are a bunch of tools in OneShot to make your drums production ready. A slot is also a channel in the internal mixer, so you can save your kit with the sound you like and have it ready to use at your convenience. There are standard mixer parameters like volume, pan, solo and mute. And we've added multi-output routing down here. You can also change pitch and add effects. There are the standard necessities like EQ, compression and gate, but also more coloring effects like distortion, bit crush, stereo spread, room simulation, delay and reverb. And speaking of, we've added 2 buses in OneShot where you can put the room, reverb and delay and send the signal to. And finally, there's the master route where you can also add effects. That's the full OneShot overview. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Noah. Now go ahead and give OneShot a shot. You can find all the necessary links in the description. Bye!
Bye.